You are watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juan.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leek.
And together we are...
Road
Break family. How's every single one of you today? And it was Tuesday morning, so we're going to be talking about what happened on Monday Night Raw. Not too bad, not too great. What do you think, Jean-Paul? It was like,
it was. What was it? Championship Monday.
Championship Raw.
It was decent Raw. Like you said, there were some championship matches. The ones that I was nervous about actually had a good ending, so I can't complain about that. 24/7 title change. Does anybody care? No. And some of the storylines on Raw, like they're good, but they're just moving so slow that you just eventually lose interest in them.
Yes, is it absolutely?
And does anybody want to see Big Show versus Randy Orton? No.
Legit?
What was that Extreme Rules 2013 or something?
Yeah, legit. Legit.
Maybe
after.
7 years ago, I wouldn't mind seeing the Big Show, but now, come on.
Well, they wanted the Big Show for every single generation, because now that Undertaker is retired, they need the Big Show. So,
Yeah.
And thank you so very much, family, for watching every single one of our videos. We have a great video of Jean-Paul Wrestling Halls. He's back. He went to the Symbiote Collectibles. There you go. Collectibles. Yep. So he's going through the store. He was looking for like a lot of wrestling things. He found out legit stuff. And some of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, anybody, any of our local family in Pennsylvania, and if you're near West Reading, definitely go check them out. They have huge selection of stuff.
Oh yeah, big shout out to them. Excellent store. They have a big selection of stuff. Not only WWE, they have TNA, they have all WCW. A lot of good stuff for like fans that like love to collect those live action figures. Like I would love to get that Taker that he had. Just Taker and Macho Man. Those are my two that I will need. And also like a WWE Championship. So let's start with the review, Jean-Paul. Drew McIntyre opens the show. He said, "Welcome to Monday Night Raw and the Championship Wrestling." And of course, we have like a lot of championship matches today. But before he can actually say more, boom. I'm here to show the world. Dolph Ziggler comes out for the ones that don't
I'm here to show the world my bullshit ponytail coming off the top of my head.
There you go. He comes out, and for the ones that don't know, AJ Styles was dropped to SmackDown. We all know that. But as a payoff, or like in a way to make it even, then you got Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, or Bobby Roode, or Glorious Bobby Roode. That you got them, both of them moved to SmackDown. So like you need one guy in SmackDown, and you get two for Raw. So pretty much like because he's coming out and he's talking to Drew McIntyre, and he said, well, when you and me were together, we won gold. We were the tag champions. And Drew is like, well, yeah, you even gave me my name. The Scottish psychopath came out for me. So those pretty much Jean-Paul is saying that I want just reciprocity. Make it even for me. I took you back. I made you legit. I put you in the map. Can I get a championship match? And he's like,
and of course, because every babyface champion in the history of mainstream wrestling is now a fighting champion. So of course, Drew was like, okay, it's legit. Claymore kick, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He said like he pretty much accepts. He's like, okay, we're gonna have a match. So Extreme Rules has his first official match, and it's gonna be Drew McIntyre defending against Dolph Ziggler.
Now, that match. To comment on the match, it will be legit. Yeah. Because both these guys can go. There's no way you can be like, oh, Dolph Ziggler sucks. You can say, oh, he sucks with the storylines he's been given. But when the bell rings, he can go. Drew McIntyre, we all know he's legit. He's the WWE champion for a reason. So the match will be good. But it's like, is this story really worthy enough for him to come over and be like, so
I know,
give me a match.
We were thinking about like Randy Orton, but I guess they're trying to keep like pushing the agenda of their legend killer.
Well, the way they're pushing the legend killer, I feel like when he gets a championship opportunity, he's going to win the belt.
Yeah,
I think just because they're all in on him.
Yeah.
So, but with McIntyre, this will be an easy win. Okay. You're not going to take the title off him at a bullshit pay-per-view like Extreme Rules, because McIntyre, or in their eyes, McIntyre is a legit champion. He's not like a transitional, like, have the belt for 3-4 weeks, give it to someone else. No, when he loses it, it's going to be at a big moment. So I'd say earliest would be SummerSlam. I hope it's not the case, but I think he's going to beat Ziggler.
It kind of
But
sucks that, like, Bobby Lashley is not in the title picture anymore, but we're gonna go and tell you where he's gonna end up being. But yeah, go ahead.
yeah, but I mean, for the person who is left out, in left field is Bobby Roode.
Oh well, yeah. Well,
What
like
is? I
I
mean,
told you, like the one thing with him is like he's stuck in Canada yet. So as soon as like
but I mean,
everything,
I don't know but you can drive from. I mean, they're in Florida, I guess, but you can drive from Canada to Florida. I mean, it's not
I
like
have
it's,
no, I have no reports on that. I
yeah.
do the road break news, but I do
I mean
not
that
have.
that's the.
All I
But
know
I
that
mean,
he's stuck in Canada.
even when he comes back, I mean, what's he gonna do? Glorious, and what is he gonna beat Tozawa for the 24/7 championship? Like,
Well,
come
that's
on.
glorious enough for him. As of now, he is. But like anyway, you're right, Jean Paul. So that was the first segment of Monday Night Raw, and then we get Nia Jax. She comes out to the ring, and it was like, I like that Mars girl. So like it's kind of okay. She comes out and she has a chair. She sits down and she's like, well, I'm not leaving till I get a championship match or like I see Charlotte. And then we get to see the guy that like Jean Paul quotes is like if I see him every week, he's not as funny, and that's Mr. R-Truth. He's like, hey, what's going on, Naya? He's like, oh, I think you're Akira Tozawa because the ninjas are like masters of the sky.
I mean, it is funny. Like, I see I'm not at that point yet where I'm like, we see him every week and I hate him, but I just feel that that's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Because when
yeah.
his music hit, I was like, I mean, I knew we were getting the match, but I'm like, why is it with Nia Jax? Like, it should have just been the Tozawa segment, because then we saw him later in the night, obviously. But I mean, I did pop for that. I'm like, he's just like, the shit he thinks of off the top of his head is so good.
Oh yeah, it's good. So like, and then the ninjas came out, and then Tozawa came out from like the commentary team, like where the place where
Yeah.
they are, and then pretty much Truth have to like run and
Yeah, I
everything.
love
So
how
that,
he's like, there's two Tozawas, because he thought Nia Jax was Tozawa.
yeah, and I'm like, okay, whatever. So, and then Charlotte, Nia Jax pretty much is saying that Charlotte
Mm.
goes granted everything because of her daddy. Like the same, stuff that everybody else says. And the good thing is Charlotte was gonna say, oh yeah, because she comes out. She was like, oh, you want to talk about family? And if they would have done that, it would have been so legit because she would have said, oh, you say you're my daddy? Well, your cousin. Your
Yeah,
cousin is the only
she would have
reason
been
that you
like,
have a job here.
yeah, I wish you would have been like, I mean, I wish it would have been a full shoot, and she would have been like, listen, like you said, mention The Rock, and been like, and let's say family aside, how about we both say, yeah, our family's got us here, but who's a legit wrestler and who's a fat piece of
Yeah,
shit?
and
You know what I mean?
who
It's like,
enjoys to like injure people.
yeah,
There you go. So like they went at it. They went at it because pretty much said Nia goes like, you're throwing and everything. You've been great, but like with just like smaller rivals, not really anybody like me. You haven't,
mm-hmm.
and I can destroy you anytime I want. Boom. They went at it, so that kind of set up something for later. But we like you said, Jean Paul, they needed a way to kind of like deviate, made them like go somewhere different
Yeah,
because
and
championship
the
match
main
picture is
point of
different
this
also.
was, yeah, the main point of this was Nia injured, Charlotte's arm a little bit, so then that was
Yes.
the main, going
Yeah, it's
forward
like
into
kind of like
her.
a hitter or something. So she had to go into the trainer's office and she got the kinesio tape. And then she's like, oh, don't worry, because Charlie went and like, hey, are you okay? And it's like, yeah, don't worry. It's like, this is like, pretty much a day in the office. It's like, I will be fine holding that Raw Women's Championship. So good stuff on that. But now, Jean Paul, Mr. Egg, we're going to go to like, of course, they had like a big promo with the Viking Raiders and the Street Profits, pretty much summarizing their whole rivalry, those awful segments. But finally, we got the match. Like you said, we're in Championship Raw, and we had a match, and it was pretty decent. I really liked it, and I really like this new agenda that WWE is kind of doing, something that we've talked about in the past, that like, so they steal finishers. I like that when when you're still like your opponent's like finisher. I really enjoy that because to me that added a little bit of extra for like Attitude Era days.
Oh
So
yeah, and it
like
definitely,
the
because it was
Street Profits,
always,
they stole the Viking Raiders finisher.
yeah, they hit the Thor's hammer, and you got to think the whole feud, which not that it was a great feud, some enjoyable moments, I guess, but it was the main focus of anything you can do, we can do better. So
Yes,
I like that. It's like, oh, how about we can do your finisher better than you can?
yes,
So they hit the Thor's hammer and all this, and like you said, the match, it was legit. I wish we would have saw maybe just 3 matches out of this feud instead of all the little competitions we got, but I mean, I was actually surprised the Street Profits retained.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I was
to be honest,
surprised too.
and nothing against the Street Profits, because when the bell rings, they can go. Sometimes, on the mic, it's a little bit, I think if they were
It's
in a
way
PG,
too much on the mic.
I
It's
think
way
if
too
they were
much.
in a PG-13 environment, they would be better. I think it's because they have to be really kid friendly. They can't, really be themselves.
Yeah, no, I think it kind of comes out a little forced, but like the Street Profits legit stuff, and like you said, Montez Ford has like the best, frog splash or the 5-star splash.
Yeah, I love Eddie. I love RVD, but nobody gets the height like Ford.
The height and the execution on air, the
Yep.
whole motion, the execution of it is absolutely great, and they did that, and pretty much they retained. So after the match, like they show both teams show some sportsmanship. And then they were hugging, but then we get to see the next progression for the feud right away. Because what happens? Andrade Cien Almas and Angel Garza, or Uncle Garza, they come out and they start attacking the Street Profits. And so a little bit of the Viking Raiders. So you see Selena, you see Andrade and Garza finally on the same page. You see that like they put their differences aside, and now they're going to focus on the tag titles. And then right away they had like an interview with Charlie. And again, Vince McMahon, there was a report that he sees Garza as who? Eddie Guerrero. How long we've been saying that? Months.
We've been saying that since we've been saying that. I was gonna say, yeah, I think since after that NXT, the breakout tournament or whatever that was.
Yes, yeah. So like pretty much we've been saying like that's the next Eddie Guerrero. Oh, Vince McMahon sees Angel Garza as Eddie Guerrero. Oh, no brainer, easy to do. So like they said, hey, our focus now is going to be the tag titles. So cool stuff. See, I like that. Okay, one feud ends, another one starts.
Can I just say, we've said this before on the podcast, but I hate how Charlie Caruso asks the stupidest questions. She comes up, everyone she interviews is all like somebody with 2 brain cells, and she's not that dumb. This is the question, oh, Charlie, ask this. And she's probably thinking, are you kidding me? But whatever, I'm working for WWE, making big money. So
that's right.
Because it's like this stupid stuff she asks, and it's like, I don't know. Like I said, it's just in this segment, asking, oh, how are you guys finally on the same page and whatever tonight? Well, clearly it's because Zelina got them ready.
Yeah.
It's like they ask like the stupidest stuff.
Oh yeah,
and then Andrade's like, we want the Raw Tag Title. Can you just say it in Spanish, please? Well, how come NXT does Spanish and they put subtitles?
I know.
And you're like, oh, Raw is live. Then film this freaking backstage segment beforehand. Maybe if you don't write the show 2 minutes before it goes on air, you can pre-film this, and you can.
Every time I speak, you're going to see the subtitles. The caption. You're going to see that because just so we teach WWE a lesson. But anyway, Jean Paul, it's time for the Raw Women's Championship match. Asuka with Charlotte. All of us were panicking. 10 minutes of pretty much delivering a baby. We knew that was something bad it was gonna happen. Extremely legit match and quick. And see, I like that. Not too long because already 2 weeks ago they had this an almost hour match. So okay, why they?
Yeah, I mean, and they're gonna have more singles matches at pay-per-views throughout the next coming years. So you don't need to put on a barn burner of a match on a Monday Night Raw.
Yes. So
they got the story across. It was a legit match. The only thing that still pisses me the hell off, I can't stand it, is Charlotte is going in this match injured the whole time. They're like, ooh, that shoulder. Charlotte dominated this match.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they gotta make her look good.
I know she's maybe 5 or 6 inches taller than Asuka. Charlotte's, a tall woman, but it's like, come on, she's injured. Asuka's the champ. Can it be 50-50?
Or
Asuka gets her ass kicked.
Can you enhance your champion also? But
yeah.
But in the end, at least, the final decision enhance the champion because Asuka got her in the Asuka lock, and actually Charlotte tap out. But of course, they're gonna say why, because of the injury. They're going to play that out. They're going to say, oh, because of the injury, that's why she tapped out. And she didn't really tap out like this. It was more very subtle. So, anyway, but Asuka retains. So that's cool, and that's what we need.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, she's a hell of a wrestler. But every time she loses, it reminds me when Hulk Hogan would lose.
Yeah.
It's 1, 2, 3. You don't even finish saying 3, and he's kicking out.
Oh, yeah. You see that, you see that she hates losing. So, I mean, yeah. But, at least Asuka retains. So that's good. And also why? Because, see, now, later on, we saw, a little bit of footage that Nia Jax also, kept going into, the arm, and then she's permanently injured. So she's going to be off maybe TV, maybe a few weeks. Why? I can just tell you why. because everybody's tired of her. So WWE kind of like is listening to us, and they're like, okay, maybe we can take her up TV 1 or 2 weeks so she can actually rest a little bit, feel better, because hey, she's been on like all the 3 shows for the whole pandemic almost. So let's give her a little bit of a break, and then when she comes back, she's gonna feud with Nia, because we know where the next stop for the women's championship is gonna be. We thought it was gonna be Shayna Baszler, but clearly McMahon does not like Shayna Baszler because she's been off TV. Why are you gonna put her up if you're not gonna use it?
That's what I mean. Like, it's not like he, I mean, he probably doesn't follow really anything in NXT, but it's not like you don't know who the hell this person is.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, hey, it's Ronda Rousey's best friend. Whatever. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, Jean-Paul. So let's talking about best friends. We're gonna talk about Adam Copeland because Edge is gonna give us an update on Christian. Did he give us an update? I don't know, but pretty much he cut a long promo. Of course, Edge, like you said, he's a pretty well actor. He's done many movies, so he pretty much has taken a lot of classes. He's a pretty educated professional when it comes to promo.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the perfect word, the delivery of it. He knows when to pause. He knows when to get loud, when to get quiet. Yes. He knows how to really connect with your emotions. Unlike when some people cut promos like Nia Jax, it's like you hear the crickets and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah. So like that's what I mean. So pretty much, for example, he says, hey, I couldn't hold my kids, because of the tricep. I'm done. He said like he kind of mentioned Christian. He mentioned Christian calling him Jay, but we didn't get an update on him. So also he said, hey, you know what, Randy, like what's coming for you is gonna be really bad. It's like you're gonna wish that like you didn't do this to me. Every time you talk to your wife, you're gonna just like, so he's coming. So like you see Edge is like, thank you for awakening in me. Thank you for.
Yeah, he's like, you pretty much killed the guy who was just happy to be here. He's like, I was all smiles to just be back in wrestling and, just happy to be whatever role I had. He's like, you killed that guy and you awoken something in me. I think he said he's not PG anymore. So you know what that means?
No, they said
rated R.
Yep. Yep. So the rated R superstar is back, and that's pretty much the whole take of the promo. It was really good. For example, you woke up on.
Does that mean the first thing? Oh, sorry, but the first thing I thought, I'm like, is he gonna bang Beth on Monday Night Raw?
Oh, okay. Maybe, I don't know.
Because I'm like rated R. I'm like, how rated R are we going? Are we going rated PG-13?
If we can see that, that's fine. I mean, I'm not opposed to that. I have my cornet kind of like tendencies right there. So it says, you woke up the side of me that will sink to any level to get what he wants. There you go. That's it. Rated R superstar is back. So that's really cool. We'll see Edge, probably towards the beginning of 2021, because pretty much he's done for the remainder of the year. So, we'll see what happens with that. But
yeah, I mean, the way that I would do it, continue. Yeah, and I think you can't have him be off TV. You've had guys who were injured before. When Stone Cold broke his neck and he couldn't wrestle, he kept coming in, monster trucks, whatever. You have Edge still come in and still be relevant.
Yes.
Maybe Edge could have a match against Drew McIntyre, and it's like, he's going to win the championship, and then Edge comes in and, blasts him with a chair or something, and then Claymore kick, and Randy Orton loses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or he doesn't even have to be that. Ric Flair's his manager. Edge could go after Ric Flair, because obviously Ric Flair's not going to fight back. Then that would distract Randy, cost him a match, keeps the feud going. So that's how I think you got to do it if he is out for an extended period of time, which it seems like it's going to be like that. Hopefully, he can be back sooner than later, but at his age and everything, you don't want to rush it. But, I think if you play it right, people will still be just as invested. I think if you play it correctly.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, we're going to go now to the 24/7 championship. Bobby Lashley attacks R-Truth. That's the full Nelson. So, of course, R-Truth is done. Akira Tozawa shows up, pins him 1, 2, 3. We have a new 24/7 champion. At least, first Monday that he actually leaves as a winner. And a long time, probably 3 years. A cool stuff for Tozawa.
But he's probably going to lose it on YouTube or lose it on
he's
Facebook
probably losing it right now as
we're
recording. So
probably.
So going now, Jean-Paul, to Liv Morgan versus Natalya, and Natalya comes out with Lana. So that's the next. At least they were able to find a way to separate Lana and Bobby Lashley. So that's cool. And now Natalya is being managed by Lana.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't see. I don't get this. Like I said, if behind the scenes, if Natalya is training Lana and they're just putting them together because it's like, hey, you travel together, get chemistry, whatever, I'm fine with that. but Natalya doesn't need a manager. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that doesn't, and it's not like Lana's a legendary manager. She managed Rusev to WWE Championship Gold or anything. So I don't know what they're doing with this, but I mean, Liv Morgan loses again. Why was she getting pushed and then losing?
Oh yeah, that's the thing that I guess her push is over.
Besides
they hinted something later, so
Yeah. Besides,
they hinted something later.
And we'll get to that. But besides the main event for the women, and not even that's perfect storyline, but it's like anything under the main event, main roster, they don't care about it.
They're no, you're right. Like it's pretty much non-existent. There's not like building new stars, but it's somewhat like that. A little bit. For example, like in this match was very quick. Natalya Lana kind of distracted Morgan, so of course Natalya puts the sharpshooter. Done. So you can see
instantly. I mean, I don't even know if anybody tapped out the Brett sharpshooter that fast.
Well, Natalya, I guess she puts the best sharpshooter ever, but that's what they do. So pretty much Natalya you see that there's an alliance between Lana and Natalya, so that's interesting. We'll see what that can help Natalya accomplish, because of course she hasn't been a champion for the longest time, probably 3 years, when she was like the SmackDown Women's Champion. So we'll see what happens on that. Frustration on Liv Morgan. Also, then they hinted a little bit about reunion for the Riot Squad, because Ruby Riot was trying to talk to her. He's like, hey, and he's like, oh, if you're going to talk to me or you're going to make fun of me, this is not the moment. He's like, I know I screwed up last week. I know I screwed up this week. It's not the moment.
But I love how Ruby Riot was like, oh, you're a lost puppy, you're bullshit. And then now, since Ruby Riot became bullshit, now she's like, so...
Yeah, so...
how many people do we know like that like, they say everyone's bullshit, and then when they get nowhere, then they're like, so...
Well, at least then WWE is using real life storylines right there. So yeah, absolutely right on that. So Jean Paul, Ric Flair, Nate for Pretty Boy Dogs Masters, Nate comes out in the ring, and he's talking about first of all, he addresses the situation with Charlotte. She says, Nia Jax, if you're listening to me, Charlotte is injured. Yes, indeed. But when she comes back, she's gonna go and destroy you. She's gonna kill you. She's on a mission, and you are the target. So make sure you watch your back.
Ric Flair said he wants one more match, so maybe he's setting up him in The Rock.
Well, there you go.
That would be so bullshit.
Daddy and daughter against cousins.
Rock bottom on Ric Flair, and he dies in the middle of the ring.
What?
Yeah. He wouldn't have it any other way, though.
Oh yeah, that's true. Somebody like Ric Flair might as well do that. Might as well do that.
But one thing I just want to say on Ric Flair, I heard quick. He didn't mention Charlotte. Apparently, to get into the rumor stuff, he was having a little bit of money issues, and the royalty checks wasn't doing it. So they said, hey, we'll bring you on TV, then we can pay you more. Oh, okay, legit. Because Bruce Pritchard, that's, he's somehow I think they're just good friends, whatever it is, with him and Rick. But he was like, oh, okay, we'll get you on the show, since he's writing both the shows now. And then they were like, manage Charlotte. And they're like, oh, well, we kind of don't want Charlotte to just be, everyone will be like, oh, you're Ric Flair's daughter. So then it's like, let's put him with Randy Orton. So that's kind of how and why they got him with Randy Orton.
Oh, well, and that's fine. I mean, the evolution is right there. So then, the story is right there. You don't need to even question that. It's just, hey, they were friends. There's evolution. Boom. So pretty much Randy Orton comes out because he's being introduced as the best wrestler of all time. So Randy Orton is talking. He's saying, hey, yeah, I mean, sure, I'm the best wrestler in the world. I'm the legend killer. I finally got my whole persona back. And that's cool. I really like that. But then we get the man that Jean Paul was mentioning. We're Big Show. So I thought they were going to have a match right there. Because the Big Show is you're a piece of shit. It's I've known you from before. It's you always latch onto everybody. You're a contender. And that's how you became better. And that's the only reason that you became better, because the guy you were facing was really good. And then you're like, oh, okay, I really put effort. I need to put effort on this, because any other time you half-ass everything. So and it's and it pisses me off that a guy that I respect, he's managing you, and that's Nature Boy and all of that crap. So pretty much you can see that Extreme Rules might be the stuff for these guys. What do you think?
Yeah, and I think if you do an Extreme Rules match, that obviously helps the Big Show.
Yes.
Because then it's there can be a table spot, a chair spot. Oh, Big Show's beat up. Then he can lay there in the rubble and, catch his breath a little bit. And nothing against him, because, he's still in good shape for his age. But it's it's not going to be the most exciting match if you do it normal. And I mean, how many times have we seen the Big Show retire, leave, come back, face turn, heel turn, whatever he needs to do, or whatever they have him do. He doesn't need to do anything anymore. But, if this is going to try to get over the legend killer, because despite what you might say of current Big Show, he is a legend.
Well, and that's why they need that. They need a legend because even he used the term legend. You're a legend, so that's why.
Yeah, so if he beats him at Extreme Rules, and that's just adds another notch in the belt for the legend killer. I mean, hey, I'm fine with it. You could definitely do a lot worse with Randy Orton. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. So they're pretty much setting out for that. So it was a pretty decent promo between them. Like you said, the emotion and the anger in the Big Show, you could really see it. So that was cool.
legit promo.
So you could really see that. So now, Jean-Paul, we're going to go to another championship match, and this one was pretty interesting. It was like the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, Sasha Banks and Bayley going against the Iconics. The match was pretty quick, actually. And, of course, the Iconics, lose the opportunity one more time just because, Sasha and Bayley are pretty dominant, and they're showing that. They're letting you see that, and pretty much is Sasha Banks applied, the bank statement into Peyton Royce. Sasha can apply that from anywhere, so that I like that. I like that move, and Bayley kind of does a little bit of work, but Sasha is the main.
Oh, and I love, and that also goes into the story. Sasha being kind of like the workhorse of the past two matches, and I love how she does the backstab right into the bank statement. Like you said, the setup and everything, it's so legit. Quick match. Did I think the Iconics were gonna win? Maybe, but then as I'm watching this thing, it's like, nah.
No, yeah. No. So not at all. So that was important. But see, what happens after that is the main thing. Is Sasha is talking to Bayley, hey, well, I want to be Sasha those straps too. So she's hinting I want a championship opportunity. So Bayley's so.
Yeah, and I love how everyone in the crowd was like, do it, because they're all told.
And then instead of calling Bayley out, he's oh, I want a Raw Championship match. So you can clearly see that the brand exclusivity done. And through the window, so you see anybody can go anywhere. Pretty much, they can Sasha Banks.
Yeah, see, they can.
Your house,
they can. I mean, that would be fine if they want to come over, but if they can do it with the Raw tag or with the Women's Tag Team Championship,
but not with other.
But it's that would they shouldn't be. That would be her going, oh, I want to challenge Io Shirai.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's no, you can only defend your tag belts. Everything else, you don't go you don't belong to that brand.
They didn't do that, but Asuka came out and Asuka pretty much accepts. Asuka, the dance and it's oh yeah, I accept, yeah. So but they jump her.
I love how she's you're not the boss of me, which is just it's funny because it's you don't tell me what to do, but Malcolm in the middle, and also the legit boss. So it's okay, ha ha ha, a little funny, but
yeah, but good stuff.
Yeah, they jump her. I think it'll be a good match.
I don't want Sasha to win though. I want Asuka to keep
No, I could definitely see this. I could definitely see this being Bayley comes out to try to help her, and then ends up screwing her over, and then that's kind of what gets that feud going.
Yes. So we'll see what happens, but it's interesting where that is going. So now we're gonna go to the MVP Lounge. MVP, of course, talking about to Apollo Crews because now the thing with McIntyre is completely done. 2 losses. We need to challenge somebody else. Who's the next champion available? Apollo Crews. So MVP saying, hey, you need to join me. I know how to be a champion. I can help you carrying your legacy, and I will protect the championship. And he says, I'm the man that was 320 some days champion, which is true. But on those days, even the championship didn't matter at all because, well, MVP is legit. I will say that. But he was never, to me, he never made the championship even better what it was. But he's, they're having a conversation. Apollo completely refuses. It's hey, I'm babyface. Don't you get that? I'm supposed to do everything by myself. And then he gets another championship match to Shelton Benjamin. Good match, quickly. But Shelton, of course, she's a great wrestler. I love Shelton Benjamin. Apollo is pretty decent in the ring. He's getting into that. He's working into his character a little more. But in the end,
and
Apollo,
that's what happens when
power
you're
bomb
actually...
and done.
Yeah, and like you said, he's getting better into his character. That's what happens when you're actually booked on TV more than, once every 5 months.
Yeah.
So, that's legit. But I mean, Shelton Benjamin, I love him. I'd love to see him have another run. I mean, I was fine when it was him and Chad Gable as a tag team. I'm They both legit. They both kind of wore the same color singlets, kind of replaced him with Jason Jordan, which was fine because Jason Jordan's done. It's you're Kurt Angle's son and done. Which is a shame, he had an injury and they said it's getting better. And then it's now
career ending. The neck and done.
Yeah, which is a shame for Jason Jordan because he was a hell of a talent. But, Shelton Benjamin, it was a perfect just replace him. They didn't like that tag team for whatever reason. And now he's just floating around in this.
Oh, yeah. So, it sucks for, Shelton Benjamin. But now, after the match, Bobby Lashley attacked Apollo Crews, another full Nelson. So you see, the next feud is going to be Bobby Lashley against Apollo Crews for the United States Championship. I don't know why you will do that to Bobby Lashley, but at least if they give him the belt, that will be fine. At least, he can kind of, get some momentum. And then see, Lashley, because that's the main thing for him.
To me, then, though, that kills Apollo Crews' momentum completely. Because you're not going to, what's he going to do then? He's not going to go after Drew. It's not like he had a long title reign and he's like, oh, I deserve a title shot against Drew. They'll be like, no, your title reign was like a month and it was bullshit. You beat the same guy like 3 times. Well, the same 2 guys, each like 2 times each. But, I mean, because I think you got to do what you said. Just save Lashley. Look at how many monsters back in the day. Guys like Andre the Giant, guys like that. They were just monsters and they didn't have a belt. They didn't need a belt.
Yeah.
You do that with Bobby Lashley, and then a returning Brock Lesnar. That's who you do a feud with.
That's what you got. That's what
for no belt. Why does not every feud needs a belt? If because these guys are not fighting for a belt. They're fighting for
Brock Lesnar comes out to ask for a championship match, jump him, and that's all you need. And then you have your feud, and then you have your match. That's all you need. But yeah, like you said, we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't think it's doing a little justice to the character that Bobby Lashley is trying to portray, but that's all there is.
Oh yeah, because like I said, if Apollo loses, he's done. If Lashley loses, he's really done.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what they do on that. Yeah. But now Jean Paul is pretty much the main event, and that's Rey Mysterio coming back, addressing the situation. We had a promo before of Seth Rollins talking about, hey, I know Dominic's here, not Mysterio's here, but they all have to help out to the prophecy. Everybody, the Messiah and all of that. So pretty much Rey Mysterio is talking about, he comes out with Dominic and he says, hey, you really got us concerned. I was calling you. It's pretty much a father pretty much trying to educate his kid. It's you got me really concerned. Your mom was concerned. We didn't know you were going to be here on Monday Night Raw, but you were. So please, don't be doing any stupid shit anymore. If somebody has to take care of it, it's me. It's you fought for me this time, so now I got to fight for you. So really legit stuff. And then we see the Messiah come out. And he comes, of course, the one thing I didn't like is they think that he's going to come out by himself. They're like, okay, just come, and then oh, where are the other 2? So of course they show up, Austin Theory and Murphy. And then it's so we're the outnumber. And then what happens? Boom, Aleister Black and Humberto Carrillo. So now the faces are the ones outnumbering the heels. And then what happened, Jean Paul?
Yeah, and then they took, they were like, oh, an eye for an eye and this and that. And see, this is what I was talking about earlier when I said these storylines are legit, but some of them, they just move so slow. I mean, the Rollins and Mysterio part of it, I think are good, but it's Aleister Black, Humberto, what are they doing here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're the 2 guys that are just always hang around the, outside the gas station. It's why are you here? What are you doing here, dude? Do you have another?
The feud is just it's for example, okay, you have Dominic
feud,
into this.
To me, you got to do the match just Mysterio and Rollins in an Extreme Rules match, obviously at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. That's what you got to do. Set it up like that, or maybe I don't know what the hell you do with Austin Theory, but if you want to do a tag match with Dominic and Ray against Rollins and Buddy Murphy,
yeah,
do that tag match. Yeah. I'd watch that at Extreme Rules. I think that would be legit. A good debut for Dominic. And it can be in a tag match. So then that way, if it's, maybe he's getting a little, whatever, it'll maybe first major match, he can just tag in Ray.
Get the tag to Mysterio and then keep going. Yeah. No, I agree with that. But that was the end of the show. Pretty much, faces outnumbering the heels, and they get the upper hand. Seth Rollins, at some point, they were going to, do the thing with the eye, because, the 4, faces, they had him, it's but then Theory and Murphy were able to kind of distract a little bit of the faces, and then they were able to go out. So that's pretty much what happened. So the faces in this occasion, they stand tall, the heels kind of retrieve. So that's what Monday Night Raw was pretty much the whole show. Like I said, a lot of things are kind of decent, so I will not say more than that. It's not
that's
terrible.
If you got rid of
watchable.
If you got rid of the 24/7 championship stuff, actually had a decent mid card for the women, and, you know, pushed women who deserved it in the main event, like Bianca Belair, Shayna Baszler, I mean, this would have been a pretty watchable Raw. I mean, obviously the tag team scene is a mess, but I mean, that's something you can't fix overnight. That's
Yeah,
something
no,
they
and but
gotta.
little by little, it seems, for example, with Almas and Garza, I think, okay, at least we have a different layer.
Mhm.
Is way more interesting than the Profits and the Viking
Yeah,
Raiders.
and what happened to Ricochet and Cedric? Or is
Done,
one of them done?
done, done. No, well, like
As a,
Ricochet, like he was on main event fighting Andrade. Yeah, that was the last. That was the last episode. So there you go. Two great talents. That's where you end. To a show that like not even the whole
Mhm.
WWE production team they see. I just feel that like they recorded and then just put like make a video out of that and boom, put it there.
Yeah, they put it on the network.
Yeah, pretty much. So, family, thank you so very much for watching the Monday Night Raw review right here on the best podcast in the whole absolutely world. That's Raw Break. So, thank you so very much for doing that. So, Jean Paul, where they can find us on social media world.
Yeah, there you go. Well, you just said the first one: Facebook and Instagram, the original Rope Break; Twitter, the OG Rope Break; and right here for the best content in the YouTube wrestling
The
community,
meat
the
and
original Rope
potatoes.
Break.
And like I said, before you watch this video, watch Jean Paul Wrestling Hall. Is so legit. Let's check out like toys, action figures, all wrestling related. Some of them really really cool. I would love to have, like I said, the Undertaker that he had. And after that, watch Monday Night Raw review right here. Every single thing that happened, and Extreme Rules are on the way. So like every storyline, the build up has started on Championship Raw. So, family, Jean Paul and I have one more thing that is left to say, and that is.
Duh.